I spent my pension helping my daughter start her dream bakery. I even cleaned the floors at night when she couldn't afford staff. Then one day, she told customers I was just the janitor and asked me to use the back door. I never stepped inside again, but I still had the original business registration. I'm a 64-year-old man from Cincinnati, Ohio. I spent 41 years working as a mechanic, busted my back, burned my hands, and soaked through my shirt every day just to keep food on the table. I raised my daughter Sarah on my own after her mom walked out when Sarah was 8. I did my best, put her through school, made every softball game, even learned how to braid her hair off YouTube so she wouldn't feel different from the other girls. Sarah always had this dream of baking for a living. I still remember the way she used to sneak into the kitchen at night, covered in flour, trying to perfect her blueberry scones. She was always better at that than most people who'd been to culinary school. That oven became her place, and I supported it however I could. Bought her baking tools, paid for some online courses when she got older. Never said no. When she turned 30, she came to me with this plan. She wanted to open her own bakery. She said she'd found this little spot down near Vine Street, and she had a vision for it. She was glowing, like this was her purpose. I was already retired by then, just living off my pension and Social Security. I wasn't rich, but I'd saved smart. I had a decent cushion, enough to enjoy the rest of my life modestly. But she needed help. She needed money to get it off the ground. $50,000 for the build-out, equipment, permits. Then another $24,000 for cushion and operations. She had some savings, but not enough. She promised she'd pay me back. Said it was an investment, and that I'd always be a part of it. Her exact words were, "Dad, this bakery is going to be our legacy." So I did it. I cashed out a chunk of my pension. It hurt. I won't lie. I knew I was taking a risk with money I might need for medical bills down the line. But I thought, she's my daughter. What else is this money for, if not to help her build something real? We opened Baker Street together. That was the name she picked. I signed the lease with her. The LLC papers had both our names on it. She was listed as managing partner, but I was 50% owner. At first, I didn't care about titles or control. I just wanted to see her succeed. The first 6 months were rough. She couldn't afford staff most days. She baked through the night. I cleaned, scrubbed toilets, washed pans, emptied trash. Sometimes I'd get there at 4 a.m. just to mop the floor before the doors opened at 6. I wasn't there to be seen. I was there to help. She kept saying she was grateful, said she'd never forget it. And I believed her. Business slowly picked up. She started getting attention on Instagram. Then a food blogger did a write-up on top 10 up-and-coming women bakers in Ohio. Sarah made the list. I was so proud I cried in my truck. Told everyone I knew. Even printed the article and brought it to the garage to show the guys I used to work with. But something changed after that article came out. Sarah stopped wanting me around as much. First, she said the broom closet was too small, and could I keep my supplies in the back room instead? Then she asked if I could come later, after closing. Said it was better for the vibe. I shrugged it off. Then one day, I walked in during business hours because I needed to check a fuse in the back panel. A customer asked her who I was. She looked right at them and said, "Oh, he's just the janitor." No smile. No wink. Nothing. I stood there. My heart actually hurt. Not figuratively, literally. I felt something twist in my chest. After the customer left, she walked over and said, "Dad, listen, I love you, but can you start using the back door? It just feels more professional." I nodded, said nothing, took the mop out of the closet, set it down, and walked out. Drove home in silence. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I never went back. She didn't call, didn't check in. A week passed, then 2. I sat on that for a while. Tried to convince myself it was just her being stressed. Young people get caught up in appearances. Maybe she'd come around, but she didn't. And the thing is, she forgot something. I still had full access to everything. The bank account, the LLC registration, the articles of organization. I still had legal control over 50% of the business. She never filed any changes. Never bought me out. Nothing. For months, I watched quietly as she posted online about being the founder and sole owner. I saw interviews where she talked about starting from scratch and building it all herself. My name disappeared from the website, from the stories, but I kept receipts. Every wire transfer, every invoice, every copy of our signed agreement. I even had photos of me in the shop from those first months. Pictures of me installing the ceiling tiles, laying the tile in the bathroom. She thought I was just a ghost. Forgotten. She had no idea I was about to come back. With every ounce of legal and emotional fire I had left, by the end of that year, I had stopped hoping for an apology. Not a single call. No birthday card. No, thank you for the money, time, or the nights I spent wiping grease off her kitchen floor. She moved on like I never existed, but I kept watching. Quietly. One day I went online to check the LLC records with the Ohio Secretary of State just to see if she'd filed anything behind my back. Nope. Everything still listed me as a 50% owner. I even checked the business bank account. I still had online access because we never changed it. That's when I noticed something strange. A new deposit from a local investor, then another from what looked like a food grant. She was getting outside money now. Thousands. And she hadn't told me a word. So I started looking deeper. She'd started using a new business name on her Instagram and website, Sarah's Sweets and Company. No mention of Baker Street anymore. But legally, she was still operating under the old LLC. All those new funds were flowing into the original bank account. My account too. The name change? Just branding. Nothing legal. She thought she was clever. Thought I'd just disappear and take my bruised feelings with me. That's when I printed everything. Bank statements, deposit logs, social media posts. I made a file, and I made an appointment with a lawyer. When I laid out everything, the lawyer leaned back and asked, "Why haven't you filed anything yet?" I told him I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted her to remember where she came from. He said she forgot. Maybe it's time you reminded her. So we got to work. First, we froze the business account. As a 50% owner, I had every right to challenge the transactions until the ownership dispute was settled. That meant no money could be pulled out, no rent paid, no vendor checks cleared. 2 days later, she called me for the first time in over a year. "Dad, what the hell is going on?" The bank said the account's frozen. "I have payroll due in 3 days. I kept my voice flat. "You'll have to talk to my lawyer." "Your lawyer? Are you kidding me?" "No, not kidding. You're sabotaging me." I paused, then said, "You made it real clear I was just the janitor. So why would you care what I do?" She went silent. Then she hung up. The next thing I know, she's blasting me on Facebook. A long post about how toxic family members were trying to take down her business. Said she built everything from the ground up without help. Said she was being punished for being a successful woman in a male-dominated world. Her fans rallied behind her. People I knew, people who'd eaten my damn blueberry muffins back when I was helping, started commenting, calling me bitter, a leech, a jealous old man. That hurt more than anything. But I didn't fight online. I let the lawsuit speak for me. We filed a formal motion to dissolve the business and liquidate the assets, or buy me out at full valuation. If she wanted the bakery all to herself, she'd have to pay me what it was worth. Every fixture, every customer list, every rolling pin. And it was worth a hell of a lot more than $74,000 now. That's when things turned ugly. She showed up at my house unannounced, crying. Said she was sorry. Said it all got out of hand. Asked if we could talk, just the two of us, without lawyers. Part of me wanted to believe her. But then I noticed she was wearing a mic hidden under her scarf. I just stared at her and said, "Get off my porch." She left. I heard from her lawyer 2 days later. They wanted to settle. But her number was laughable. She offered me $20,000 and asked me to walk away and sign an NDA. I told mine, not a chance. The truth was coming, and I wasn't letting it go this time. 2 weeks after I rejected the settlement, I got a knock on my door. It was a courier. Official notice from the city. Sarah had filed a complaint with the local zoning board claiming I was interfering with her place of business and causing intentional financial harm. She was trying to paint me as the villain, legally. The paperwork said I was using my position to coerce and damage a minority-owned small business. That stung. A lot. Not just because it was a lie, but because I knew exactly what she was doing. She was trying to shift the narrative. Make this about power and optics. Me, the old white guy trying to bring down his hard-working daughter. Her, the underdog fighting back. She wasn't playing fair. She was playing public. My lawyer said we had nothing to worry about legally. But reputation? That's harder to fix. Things kept piling on. Someone spray-painted "deadbeat dad" on my driveway. My mailbox got smashed. And then, one night, someone egged my house. I knew it was her supporters. She never told them to stop. Then something changed. One of her old employees, Jenna, reached out. Quietly, she asked if we could talk in person, said she didn't want to put anything in writing. We met at a diner in Norwood. She looked nervous. I probably shouldn't be doing this, she said, but you deserve to know. Turns out, Sarah had been cooking the books. Jenna used to manage the PS system before Sarah replaced her. She said Sarah was pocketing cash, underreporting revenue, and telling investors she made double what she really did. The grant money she got? Based on false numbers. She even forged a tax form that I was supposedly okay with. Signed it in my name. Jenna gave me a flash drive. Said, I kept copies. I knew one day she'd screw over the wrong person. That changed everything. I took it straight to my lawyer. He went pale reading it. Said, this isn't just a business dispute anymore. This is fraud. We filed new motions, civil and criminal. Suddenly, Sarah stopped talking publicly, deleted a bunch of posts, locked down her social media. But it was too late. A local news outlet picked up the court filings. They'd seen her online persona, her bakery's popularity. Now they had a story. Beloved local baker sued by her father. Fraud allegations surface. Everything she built was cracking. But we weren't done yet. Because what Sarah didn't realize was this. I wasn't just out for money. I wanted the truth to come out. I wanted everyone to see who she really was, not just to me, but to everyone she used and stepped on to climb her way up. And the worst part? There was still more to uncover. The fraud case opened everything up. The city launched its own audit once the media coverage picked up. Sarah's business records didn't hold. False income reports, falsified payroll, unreported cash sales. She'd lied on her grant applications and on 2 tax returns, both years after I left the business. My lawyer handed over the flash drive Jenna gave us. That was the nail in the coffin. A grand jury was called. They charged Sarah with multiple counts of business fraud and filing false financial documents. Her investors pulled out within a week. The health inspector came next. Without money, she couldn't pay her vendors or her employees. The place stopped operating within 10 days of the indictment. I didn't show up to watch them padlock the doors, but I got the photos. I kept them in the same folder where I stored every receipt from the beginning. The bakery she built on my back closed. Done. She reached out once more, through a different number. Left a voicemail. Just crying. No words. I didn't call back. In court, her lawyer tried to pin the fraud on a misunderstanding of financial processes. Said Sarah was young and overwhelmed. But the prosecutors had evidence, emails, forged forms, cash logs that didn't match bank records. Her arrogance had left a trail. The judge didn't buy her story. She avoided jail by pleading down, but they hit her with a felony conviction and restitution. The judge ordered her to pay me back the full $74,000 investment, plus damages for misuse of funds and fraud. Total, $112,500. She didn't have it, so the court seized her remaining business assets. Equipment, furniture, even the car she bought under the company name. It all went to auction. And you know what I did? I showed up. I stood in that cold warehouse, hands in my pockets, and watched people walk off with pieces of her dream. I didn't bid on anything. I just watched. Quiet. No joy. No gloating. Just silence. She had burned it all down. I just handed her the match she left on the counter. As for me, I still live in the same house. Drive the same truck. I didn't get rich off the judgment. I used most of it to patch the hole in my retirement. Paid off some old medical bills. Put the rest in a separate account for Jenna. She never asked for anything, but I gave her a check with a note for standing up when it counted. She quit food service and went back to school. We talk now and then. Not like family, but like people who went through something together. And Sarah? Last I heard, she moved to Columbus. Changed her last name. Tries to freelance as a pastry consultant. Her record makes it hard to rent, hard to get credit. Every time someone Googles her name, the story comes up. That's not revenge. That's just truth sticking to her like sugar on a hot pan. Do I regret what I did? No. I regret trusting her blindly. I regret thinking that love could cover up someone's character. But I don't regret making her face what she tried to bury. I was never just the janitor. I was the man who gave her everything. And took it all back when she forgot who built the floor she walked on.